Hi YouTube! Welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Jillian, and for today's video I was thinking of doing a little easy stretching routine that's kind of focused on if you've always wanted to be able to do the splits but you're not able to, or just a little bit of general flexibility. Never hurts. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So I'm gonna start on my left side. Firstly, I always start with runner's stretch. It's a classic, but it's very good. I grew up doing gymnastics basically from preschool to kind of grade 12. And I could actually always do the splits on my left side, but when I was in elementary school, I tore my hamstring on my right side, so I wasn't able to do the splits on my right side. And interestingly, probably the last year and a half, I've been doing these exact stretches, probably 5 or 6 times a week. And I can now safely do splits in all directions. So if you just stick with it, it works. Okay, so the next one is we're gonna tuck our heel and push our hips back, just like this. You can either flex your foot or point your toe, both definitely work. I personally like to kind of just like move a little bit between the two. Whatever feels good that day. I don't know about you, but I definitely have tight hamstrings. I feel like this one I'm always like, it's a really good warm up. Always helps. Take a few deep breaths. Okay, and then next, I usually go into pigeon from here so we can kind of target our glutes. So you can just tuck your left leg like this and lean forward. And if you don't feel this stretch, or you're just flexible, you can always move your heel like further forward and that will help get more stretch. Everyone's different, but when I stretch, I definitely like to take some deep breaths. I feel like it really kind of helps your body relax into the position. And something that I learned at gymnastics is basically you kind of just deep breathing and you keep holding the position, like the deeper you will get. It just like hurts the most at the beginning. But yeah, when your body relaxes, you can kind of get into the stretch a little more. Okay, now at this point, I would normally just go into the splits, but just a preview for you. Ta-da! It is possible. But yeah, I will just do one more on the left side, which is just another in this position that I like to do as kind of a bonus, where you grab your back foot and just kind of tug on it a few times. Usually I'll hold it this way. I find it a bit more comfortable. I feel like it's a really good quad stretch. And I will say, yeah, like these moves, even if you're not trying to do the splits, like, yeah, even if you're just, working out in other regards and you want to like stretch your legs and glutes, you will hit the spots. Okay, so on to the right side. So back to runner's stretch. For this one, a couple things to point out is I like to have my knee like right over my ankle, so it's a vertical line. This is just how we did it in gymnastics. But yeah, and I also like to focus on pushing this hip forward. Like I feel like this feels like a really good stretch up kind of through your hip flexors and in the kind of front of your leg. So yeah, I feel like I like to kind of focus on squaring my hips forward and like pushing this hip forward. I've seen some people do like a variation of this where you kind of go down like so, but I personally feel like that's not really that helpful for this stretch. I feel like if you're really trying to stretch the front of your leg or your hip flexors, I really feel like just pushing kind of from the back forward, kind of by squeezing your glute, is much more effective. Okay, so now we will go back to our little back foot, little back stretch. So tuck your toes, just lean back. Again, you can do flex foot or pointed foot, but I just kind of like to rock between the two a little. And take some deep breaths. I feel like something that my teachers told me, I also did ballet for a few years, is that when you're stretching, it shouldn't like hurt. Like you wanna stretch the muscle and like definitely, you know, feel like you're doing something, but it shouldn't be like painful. Like it should be sort of like a gentle stretch kind of feeling. So you definitely don't have to like push your range of motion, just kind of go to the point where it's like still like pleasant, but like, yeah, there's no need to overdo it. Just because you're trying to stretch further doesn't mean it's more effective. Yeah, my right side's still tighter. Okay, now into pigeon stretch. So just bend your front leg and take your arms up forward. And this again, if you need a bit more of a stretch, you can push your heel a little forward with your hands. And yeah, this one's really good for the glutes. In this one, you can also kind of like try to push this hip forward as well if you want to like stretch the front of your hip as well at the same time. But I feel like, especially if you're beginner, sometimes it's just easier to focus on one thing at a time. So take whatever feels good. Okay, then same thing here. We'll just do a little teeny splits. But again, if you're not there, that's okay. You will get there. Sometimes I also like stretch forward while I'm here, but yeah. Then lastly on this side, we will do that same quad stretch where you reach behind and tug. Yeah, I really feel that in my quads. Yeah, and then lastly for middle splits, there's not too much I really do for this one. I usually either just get right into it, or there's a couple things you can do, which is kind of go from side to side, kind of in this position. So kind of like your little froggy with one leg, and then keep the other leg stretched out and kind of like lean forward a bit. I think it helps stretch in your groin a bit. You can kind of go side to side a little, like so. Back over. Again, you can see what feels better with pointing your toes or flexing them or moving around. And then for this one, another actually good option you can do is sort of like the little, I don't even know what you would call this, like half splits, where it's like you just kind of have your knees bent. I don't know if I'm totally crazy, but I actually don't feel anything at all when I do this. Even though like my hips aren't perfectly on the floor, I feel like you just don't have as much like weight going into the movement. So I sort of feel like having a straight leg is a benefit in that regards, but it's definitely easier to get in and out of, so it's definitely a good starting point. And it doesn't hurt too to sort of rock your hips a little bit forwards and backwards to kind of see where the sticking point is. And yeah, I guess also for middle splits, if you're gonna try to go down into them, yeah, you can kind of just chill out wherever you are. I'm pretty close in middle splits. I would say they're probably my weakest, but another thing you can sort of do is just sit with your legs in like a straddle and just kind of practice leaning forward as well, getting your chest close to the ground. But try to keep your feet pointed like upwards. Don't let them cave in, like keep them turned out. And there's no right answer with how far you go. And I feel like this is actually a good way to stretch your inner thighs as well. Yeah. So, thank you very much for joining me here today. I hope you enjoyed my little splits stretch session. If you're wondering what was paused in the background, it was the originals. I love the Vampire Diaries and I've never seen the originals, and everyone keeps telling me I need to see it. So if you like the originals, or you want me to do more of these stretching type videos, or if you prefer my last Pilates video, definitely let me know in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Thanks. Bye.